another video on clotted cream. So, I had a thought about clotted cream. Well, I've made clotted cream a couple of times. Last time it was a success, but it's like 12 hours in the. Oh, I need another light on. But it's like 12 hours in the oven, which is far too long. It's far too long. So I had thoughts after that video, and I kind of thought to myself, what we can do is maybe we can speed up the process by reducing it down in a pan, and that would work because we're going to evaporate off some of the liquid, and we will concentrate the cream solids, the fat solids, the butter solids, all that kind of stuff. We'll evaporate off some of the water, and we'll be left with a thicker cream. So that will work if we just reduce it in the pan, but we won't get the crust on the top of the cream if we do it in the pan. So well, let's combine the two methods. Let's reduce it down in the pan and then bake it in the oven for an hour and a half in the oven. So we'll reduce it down in the pan, pour it into a container, put it in the oven, bake it in the oven. Hopefully the fat solids will come to the top and form that crust. Hopefully. So we're going to have to reduce it quite slowly, but it'll be still quicker. Watch this, I want to split everywhere. But it'll still be quicker. Oh, that's thick, isn't it? Where's that gone thick? But it'll be still quicker than doing it in the oven. So I reckon we can probably have this reduced in an hour. Gentle heat, slowly kind of up to the boil. We don't want to burn it, and we're going to have to stir it on a regular basis. Oh, I know why it's a bit thicker. I bought it while I was out for a walk, and it was what we call it, and then I kind of walked. It was about 3 miles back from the shop, so it's probably shaking it up a little bit, but that'll be fine. So bring it up to the boil, and then slow simmer to reduce it for maybe an hour, something like that. There's not that much of it in there, and then we'll bake it in the oven, and we'll kind of see how it goes. So what is it? 600 milliliters is about a pint, and 600 milliliters weighs approximately 600 grams, something like that. And it's approximately. We're dealing with liquids that have got a different viscosity to water. 100 grams of water is 100 milliliters of water. But when you're dealing with things that have got a different viscosity, they have a different specific gravity. So it's about 600 milliliters, 600 grams, but not exact. Not exact. But anyway, so bring it up to the boil, slowly simmer, reduce the juicy, don't know why I said that, into the container, bake in the oven. I keep repeating myself. You don't need to hear me talking anymore. Right, so that didn't take as long as I thought. It took about half an hour. As you can see, it's a lot thicker than it was. What I really should have done is I should have weighed the pan before we started, and the cream, but I didn't, so I had to wait afterwards, and it was a 1.75 kilograms, and now it's about 1.65 kilograms, so we've lost 300 milliliters, 300 grams worth of weight, which is about what we wanted to lose. So I'm in two minds. If I get it wrong, I get it wrong. So I think 120 degrees. That's going to want to fall over, as it always does, because everything always wants to fall over. So 120 degrees in the oven, just to kind of form the crust on the top of the clotted cream. I mean, it is clotted cream at the moment. It's just not got that crust which we want with authentic clotted cream. You see, it's kind of got it on the edge of the pan, so there was a little bit that fell into there, which is kind of what we kind of wanted. That there is that bit of a crust. But anyway, so 120 degrees, something like that. We'll put it in the oven for an hour. We'll see how it turns out. Squeaky door. We'll see where we go. But it is essentially, at this moment in time, the consistency of clotted cream. So we've cut that, as long as you're not bothered about the crust on the top, we have made clotted cream, and it's taken us half an hour on top of the stove instead of 12 hours in the oven. So in these times of the cost of fuel, that's not so bad. So if you've got some old cream, got the heat on, making a mess. So in this time of the cost of fuel going up, so I just need to put it in still, otherwise it'll just get stick to everything with that cream. So in these time of the cost of fuel going up, to kind of cut down on something like that, it's kind of worthwhile. And if you've got some cream by any chance left over, you don't want to make butter, you can certainly use that method and make some clotted cream quickly, and certainly a lot cheaper than to actually buy clotted cream. So how much did this cost me? This cost me about, it was on offer, so it cost me about £1.90. Yeah, it cost me, no, slightly more, maybe £2. And to buy, that's 600 millilitres, so reduced it by half, so 300 millilitres. To buy a container of about 250 millilitres of clotted cream, probably looking at about £4, something like that. Kind of like really kind of quite expensive is clotted cream, because you're reducing it and you're baking it and you're paying for 12 hours worth of electricity or gas, and that cost needs to be passed on, So, but anyway, so if you've got some spare cream, you want to make your own clotted cream, you can do that method, and it turns out with a good clotted cream, just haven't got the crust. But we're going to see if we can fix that problem. Right, let's have a look. We've had about half an hour, 40 minutes. It's got a bit of a crust on top, and it's got a darker colour. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm reluctant to do it anymore because I think what will happen is we'll end up reducing it too much and become too thick. Is that a thing? Potentially, but it's gone nice and yellowy, which means I think it's going to form a nice crust on top. So let it go cold because it's still hot, and then we'll put it in the fridge overnight, and then we'll see how it turns out. Already I'm kind of having a think, and I think if it's reduced too much in the oven, because obviously reduce it down to the right consistency in the pan and then reduce it down further in the oven. Well, it will have reduced down further in the oven because it was hot anyway. It won't have reduced down as much as it would have done in the pan for the same amount of time, but it'll still reduce down. If that's the case, I think we'll just need to adjust the recipe slightly. So how I don't know how much that container weighed. I'm not being very technical today. I should have weighed how much that container weighs. But no, we can do that thing where we did last time, where we took half of it and we can weigh half of it, and then that'll kind of work it out. But I'm kind of thinking already, this is just my way that I'm kind of thinking through things, but if we kind of think that maybe we should have taken 2/3 of the cream, reduced that down to half the quantity, and then added the last third to it, brought it back up to a simmer, and then poured it into the container and then put it into the oven, and then that kind of probably would compensate for any kind of excess amount of liquid that we've lost in the oven. But we'll see how it turns out tomorrow, and we'll see kind of how thick it turns out. But we'll see in the morning. But anyway, but those are my thoughts. I kind of like to, I don't like the whole idea of here's one I prepared earlier and this is what you have to do. I'm much more interested in the process of things and thinking on the fly and kind of adapting and thinking my way through things and kind of if something goes wrong, what we can do next time type of thing. Because that's what I kind of find interesting. I mean, I don't like to follow recipes, but I like to solve problems and make things better, and there's a different way of doing things. So, but I'm just kind of thinking my way through it and making a document of it. So it's not just I'm not giving it some kind of impression that I'm absolutely amazing. Because I watch a lot of videos, and people kind of do things, and you just kind of go, how many times did it take you to get that right? I don't believe you're as good as you actually are. Whereas I'm quite honest in the fact that I screw up all the time, and things don't come out how they want. But anyway, those are my thoughts, and we'll see you in the morning. Right, clotted cream. It's been in the fridge overnight, so it should be completely cold. It will be completely cold. It should be. That's what I'm talking about sometimes. So, spoon. It's got a skin on it. Let's not call it a crust. Is it crunchy? Oh, that bit is. Okay. So, look at that. That's lovely and thick. Oh my god. That's really thick. And it's got the crust as well. That's worked. There we go. That's probably thicker than I would have really wanted. I'll have to taste. Well, that's Clotted Cream. Really good as well. That's a winner. Isn't that one a winner? Well, right, let's weigh. But I do think it's maybe a little bit thicker than the normal Clotted Cream. So I think what I kind of my thoughts last night about the taking 2/3 of the Clotted Cream and maybe not reducing it down as much. Yeah, so instead of taking it down to half its weight when you boil it, take it down to 2/3 of its original weight. So it was 900 grams, was it? Was it 900 grams? Or the 600 grams? Can't remember. So reduced it by half, but I would say reduce it down by down by a third. So if it's 600 milliliters, 600 grams ish, take it down to 400. Take it down to 400 grams, and then the last hour in the oven will take it down to half its original weight, ish, and it'll be a little bit thicker. You'll get a bigger yield, and you'll get a little bit more for your money. But that's lovely and thick, is that? That's ridiculous. And then yeah, so we made a lemon posset with the leftover Clotted Cream last time, and it was delicious. It was delicious. So we could do the same. So we've made proper Clotted Cream, but we've cut down the cooking time by a vast amount of time. So let's just see how much we've kind of got. So better pause because I need to double check. It's 600 milliliters. I'm sure it's 600 milliliters. It's about a pint that had a double cream. So where's half? So I'm going to give some to my mum, and she'll share it with a neighbour again, I would have thought. Make sure we get as much out there as possible. Or I might give it to my sister. I'm seeing my sister tonight. Although they're always on trying to cut back on what they're eating. Alcohol and things like that. So I don't know if they'd actually be grateful of it. I know my brother-in-law would be, but maybe my sister wouldn't. So how much have we got? Like 200, so there's like 400. Yeah, so that's like 400 grams. Like 600. Hang on a minute. We haven't reduced that down by half then, have we? That's kind of quite interesting. Maybe my calculations are off. Let me just pause, hang on. Right, yeah, so that's the cream container. Well, it's one of the cream containers that I got. There's 600, well, I've overfilled it with 600 grams. So yeah, so we haven't reduced it down as much as we thought. Maybe the specific gravity's changed. Maybe that's why. Maybe we've changed the specific gravity. So, although it was weight, isn't it? I did kind of reduce it down. Interesting. Interesting. I don't know what's happened. Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know about yields and things like that. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened. But it's been a success, hasn't it? So we've got like, let's start off. We've got this weighs, that weighs like 200 grams ish. The rest of that'll be 200 grams. That's 400 grams from 600 grams worth of cream. Even though I reduced it down by half in its weight. I don't know. But it's a success. I'm getting sidetracked. It's a success. It works. If you want to make Clotted Cream for yourself on the cheap. You've got some cream left over, and or you just want to make some to be a little bit more special, or you want to make the best lemon possets in the world ever. That's what you do. You boil up the cream, and then you bake it in the oven to get the crust on the top. If you want to make, you don't have to do it. If you want to make a lemon posset more creamy, all you really have to do is boil the cream in the pan. You don't want the crust on the top. It doesn't matter. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is, in a pan, reduce it down by about half, and then make your lemon posset that way. Adjust the recipe accordingly. So reduce it down until it gets a bit thicker, and then pour that reduced cream into a container, weigh that amount of cream that you've got, and then adjust the amount of sugar and lemon juice that you add to it, and then you'll make the best lemon posset ever. So there we go. That's kind of quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah. But anyway, a rip-roaring success. It's nice to have a success. It's nice to have a success, an idea and something work kind of through. So yeah, there you go. I wonder if you probably could use frozen cream. You probably could use frozen cream, because cream you could freeze it and then you can reboil it. Double cream anyway, and you probably would still be able to make clotted cream out of it. So there's always the, what do you do with any kind of cream left over? You make some custard out of it. You put it into a soup. You make something a little bit better. But if you've got leftover cream on a regular basis, I don't know why you would, but if you have, then sort of like Christmas time, and maybe you've got some other kind of functions, and you do a lot of baking, those type of things. You've always got lots of containers of cream or like that, or you're going on a holiday, you can freeze it and you can make your own clotted cream. I don't know why you'd have leftover cream, but some people might. But anyway, you could save it up and then make like a bigger batch of clotted cream. But anyway, I'm waffling. A success. I'm extremely happy with that. You can make your own clotted cream faster, and it doesn't have to be in the oven 12 hours. A success.